So, it's the 21st of August. Kylie and I just got back into New York day before yesterday. Well, night before yesterday. And we're in a temporary apartment, sort of. It's not super great, but it's a place to crash for now. We're looking for another place to rent more permanently. And Kylie's working this afternoon, so I'm on my way up to the farm to see what's left of the farm and what's up there. See what else I can clean out and sell, and see how things look. We'll see what it looks like. I have a feeling it's not going to be great. It's probably going to be depressing to see it all overgrown and run down. But it is what it is. So, get you some video shortly. Up here at the old farm, cleaning out some more stuff from the barn. Came outside to look at some stuff. Caught a whiff of what smelled like honey. And I realized it was the Japanese knotweed with all the pollinators in it. Thought I'd get a shot. This is the old farm plot here on the farm. If you remember from previous videos, this whole area was covered in clover. And it's amazing, even with the season of no mowing, no maintenance, the clover held here very nice, very thick and green and dark. Shows what you can do with regenerative ag, even when you abandon it. It still kind of does its thing. And then here is the Oregano Patch, which persisted, survived, overcame, and even flowered. And I'm sure will continue to reseed in here, as well as grow back next year. It's perennial here in New York. It's a zone 5B at 42 degrees north latitude. Wow. Well, it's still in an abandoned state. The Japanese knotweed is full of pollinators. Honeybees and all. So that's cool to see. Let's take a look at some other stuff. So, greenhouse is still here. The old stove from the greenhouse is still here. The greenhouse is completely overgrown. And wow, is it warm in here. Wow. It's sad to see it like this. I miss this farm. I miss farming here. This is a really cool place to be. But it was time to move on. Interesting, the avocado tree still is growing. And there's some turmeric in here still. My mom had sent pictures of the ryegrass here. It was like 6 feet tall. The cover crop that I put in last fall, and you can see there's some mature rye here. So this will probably reseed this coming fall, or this season, and probably grow out again. So that's cool. can see how dense everything grew in here, even though it's like weeds and rye and mixed. It grew in real dense. I did some good work to this soil. In fact, you can see where the old farm roadway was, and where the planted area was. This ryegrass really took off. I'm running low on batteries, so I'm going to quit for now. So, in essence, things are pretty much exactly as they were left. The exception of some things that people stripped out after I was gone. My parents and some of their friends, or our friends, took some stuff, and that's okay. They were offered it and they took it, and that's good. But you can really see the line distinguishing between where I was farming and where I was just mowing. It's like distinctive. And then, of course, all these flowers are just loaded with pollinators. You can even see where the mulch was. Oh, there goes a bunny rabbit. You can even see where the mulch was around the tomato support infrastructure here. My mom's friend took the stockade fence stuff, but the electric fence wire stuff is still here. Maybe we'll find a way to do something with that. You know, it's a big project to pick up what's left here. Oregano is still here and thriving. It's kind of cool. Let's go take a look at Clone and Dio's grave. Well, here we are at the old farm, September 10th. Just was noticing the different areas here where I had farmed this. Obviously the ryegrass seeded real well into here last year and did really well. And you can see where the mulch was around the tomatoes and where all the foliar feeds and drenches were put down. And then you can see this area where garlic was a couple of years ago and where it hadn't really been tilled. And then this is where it was tilled and the rye was planted. I did seed this untilled area with rye, but it didn't take as well in there. I mean, you can see some in there, some rye stalks, but definitely didn't take as well. And then this is a very uniform area here where it was worked with rye. Back in the spring for a couple years, I'd put in calcium sulfate because this is a tight clay soil to provide calcium and sulfur and help break up the clay, flocculate the clay. Anyway, interesting to see how the different management areas responded differently. This area was planted with sunflowers and corn last year, and then seeded with rye, no-till roll down in the fall. That rye did pretty well. Definitely nice dense vegetation in there. I know it's all weeds right now, but good density. So it's capturing sunlight and sequestering carbon into the soil. Be curious to see what this looks like in a couple of years. Anyway, just thought I'd share a little bit in the different management areas here. September 14th, 2021. Just was looking at these cover crop areas a little more closely and noticing some things. One, This rye did really well, was really tall, but in the under canopy of that, we have all sorts of species. Yeah, we have smart grass, which is incredibly invasive, but the main point I want to make here is that this soil is completely covered with green growing plants, and that's always better than bare tilled soil. This is interesting because we have a tomato plant here that came volunteered through from last year, and I just wanted to take a closer look at these areas. This area here is where the holy basil was, and then I forget what was over here last year, but again, thick, dense canopy of green growing plants. Yes, they're weeds, but they're covering and protecting the soil, and they're sequestering carbon, and they're building microbial communities, protecting microbial communities, and doing the job that plants do. And I just wanted to point out this other section here that was quite different last year. This is planted in buckwheat as a cover crop, and then successive to that, Austrian winter pea and rye. Again, you can see the rye stalks from earlier in the season. Clearly that did well, and it looks like that really improved the soil, because the soil is quite soft under here. Also, it's nice to see all the clover that is spreading amongst here as well. Some nice rhizobacter type nitrogen fixing plants. But anyway, I just wanted to point out how the soil looks, how well it's covered, and how things are doing. Let's go take a look at the other block. Well, we'll just take a look at this block quick. St. John's wort here in the upper corner. That continues to volunteer out here every year. This is the upper section that the soil was not as good in. Again, the rye did a great job covering it, and it's grown in with lots of weeds and green plants. And then this lower section that was in a little better shape soil-wise, definitely darker green in here, and denser canopy. So, and you can see the dividing line again between the plot area and just the native grass that was only mowed as a way of keeping weeds down. So, big difference. Just thought I'd get a quick clip here from the lower section. Interesting. Ooh, there's a cicada killer. See if we can get a little closer to him. I think it's a cicada killer. Oh yeah. Pretty sure. Well, I just want to get a clip here from the lower section, looking across at the goldenrod. I think goldenrod's usually, or was last year by this time, was done. We had much drier, sunnier year last year, so things matured much earlier. This year was a much rainier season, I'm told, and so now the goldenrod is just turning yellow now. This would make a heck of a honey crop, and I'll bet there's honeybees all through it. Ooh. Actually not yet. Looks like it's actually still just opening. Oh, there's a bumblebee. Yeah, looks like it's just opening. So definitely on the late side this year, if I remember correctly. The apple tree. Looking kind of sad this year without some maintenance and foliar feeds.